That is an absolutely massive, massive win for Newcastle United. They really impressed me. They stepped up. The pressure was on them. Yes, Chelsea went down to 10 men, but obviously people think it would just be a walk into the park, you know. But when you're playing in such a high stakes game, it doesn't matter if the other team has 6 players, 3 players, 9 players. It's always going to be difficult. Both teams always wanted to get away from this game with 3 points. So I think it's really impressive. Although it was a bit nervy, probably not the best second half, that Newcastle United came away with the win. But we'll be looking at sort of the players and who performed well for Newcastle and just talking about how big this win really is. But before I begin, if you're new here, please hit the subscribe and the like as well. It will be greatly appreciated. And I think it would be rude not to start with Mr. Big Dan Burn, man of the match by TNT Sports, but I think he's absolutely incredible. You know those players who, you know, they're not flashy, they're not expansive, but Dan Burn has the fundamentals that make him top class. The way he shifts in that 6'7" build is unreal. It's a freak of nature. We are watching a freak of nature. You cannot be that tall but so agile. The way he changes direction, the way he keeps up with players, it is absolutely incredible. He got himself an assist today, and I just thought he was so impressive, commanding the play. We saw him celebrating this tackle as well. It means so much to him, and when you have a player who is a fan of the club playing for you, it just means more. It absolutely does mean more. Born in Blyth, playing for Newcastle United, it's just absolutely brilliant. If we look in depth to his stats here, 4 clearances in there, 1 shots block, 1 tackle, 7.8 rating. I know rating doesn't really matter, but it's still an indication of how well he played. 64 touches, 83% pass accuracy, 1 key pass, 3 out of 4, accurate long balls. I think on the ball, Dan Burn is actually really impressive. I think he's one of the best ball-playing players with Fabian Schär. It's really, really nice to see. Ground duels, 1 out of 2, 1, 2 out of 3 aerial duels, 1 as well. So really effective, a really effective footballer, and for me, deserving of that man of the match, especially in a game where you need defensive stability. He stepped up. He really stepped to the plate, and it is really impressive. But Newcastle fans, let me know down below who was your man of the match, your takes on the game. You know, respond to what I'm saying in this video, because it was a good watch. It really was. Newcastle really weathered the storm and really gradually got sort of in their mojo in that second half when, you know, you had to sit in, soak the pressure. It can be hard, but Newcastle United showed they can do it. And I mean, I talk about this guy a lot. Today he had to be Cafu. Other days, he's playing like R9. Today, it was a bit of a Cafu type performance. I saw him tracking runners. I saw him defending. Newcastle obviously had to go into that 3-back formation, but he delivered. This guy, for me, is just so good. He's so effective. I've said this many times before. Jacob Murphy, I was always looking at that Newcastle side for the past 2 seasons. I'm always saying Jacob Murphy's the one that needs to go. They need to upgrade on him really quickly. Newcastle are making backward step if they don't get a replacement for Jacob Murphy. But I mean, he just proves me wrong. And I'm happy to admit when I'm wrong. And I'm sure some Newcastle fans at some point, you've watched games and you're like, Jacob Murphy's so ineffective. But you're not going to score every game. You're not going to assist every game. But Jacob Murphy, it seems as though he's making an impact every single game he's playing at the minute. I think he won the PFA Fans Player of the Month for last month, which was very much deserved. So it's not just like he's playing good for Newcastle. He's playing good for a world-class winger. If his name was Jacob Marthinho, or if he was costing £50 million that they signed him in the summer, this would be ridiculous. Because I'm going to show you a couple of the stats he has made this season. He has now provided 12 assists in the Premier League this season. Only Mo Salah has more. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. It is a joke. That's kudos to Eddie Howe for maximising his quality, but kudos for Murphy as well. His balls into the box are so dangerous, so impactful, so effective, and it's one of the key cogs into Newcastle United being so good. We've also got this one. Jacob Murphy assisted 12 goals in the Premier League this season, the most by a Newcastle player in a campaign in the competition since Norberto Solano in 1999 to 2000. That just goes to show. You know, I don't know too much about Norberto Solano, so I'm sure a lot of you older Geordie fans will be able to maybe help me with this in the comment section. But this does seem like a massive, massive achievement. It really is. You know, Newcastle United, you know, we know they haven't been the most effective club in before these last 3 or 4 years, But now they're in that mojo, and players like Jacob Murphy have transitioned with the club and are making an impact still. And that is valuable. You cannot put a price on what Jacob Murphy is bringing right now. And I'm sure, I've said it before, it's not just on the pitch, but off the pitch, Jacob Murphy is probably just as impactful as he is as we're watching. And the final stat, 20 goal contributions in the Premier League. That's an absolute joke. No Arsenal player has 20 goal contributions. Maybe Saka, but outside of Saka, Jacob Murphy has more goal contributions than every other player in my club. And that's not dissing my club. It's just showing how good Jacob Murphy is. He's up there with the very, very best this season. I think if Salah wasn't a joke, he'd be in the team of the season on that right wing. I don't see a right winger better than Jacob Murphy. It is an absolute joke. It really, really is. He needs his flowers. Right wing back today. Cafu. Tomorrow he may be R9 in the right wing. That's just the way he's playing. And it is really, really good to see. And I mean, when do I never mention this guy, Sandro Tonali? It is impossible for me to not mention this guy because every week he shows me how good he is. I think in the world, top 4 midfielders, the best of the lot. It could even go that far because this guy in possession, out of possession, goal scoring, energy, athleticism, powerhouse, mentality, all of those qualities I've just named, Sandro Tonali has them. And in a game like this, I saw a tweet from a Newcastle fan, because I'm in the community now. I like to see what you guys are saying. And I saw a tweet saying, Sandro Tonali in that second half is the only player playing with a sort of an IQ. Maybe an emotional thing from a Newcastle fan to say, but it just goes to show when the pillars are down, you need someone to step up and keep the same energy and mentality. Sandro Tonali can do that. He really can do that. He can be that one shining light when everyone else is having a bit of an off day. You can count on him 9 times out of 10. Yes, the Brighton game, I think last week, it wasn't his best. But you can count on Sandro Tonali to pick it up. And that's all you can really ask for if you're Eddie Howe or the players in and around him. And if you're looking at these stats, an 8.0 rating, he's everywhere on that map, in possession, out possession. He wants to hassle you, and it is just simply impressive. And we're looking at this. 1 goal scored, 59 touches, 93% pass accuracy, 4 out of 4 long balls accurate, 3 out of 3 crosses, 2 key passes, 3 out of 5 ground duels won. It is absolutely incredible. He's creating at a ridiculous level and he's defending at a ridiculous level. An all-round player. And I just have to say kudos to the guy. He's just absolutely incredible. I mean, Newcastle United have a really, really good set of players. And I want to talk about Bruno as well because I look in the comment sections and I saw, Newcastle fans' opinions, they can change. They said, for me, Bruno has been very underwhelming recently. Since the cup final, Bruno hasn't been to the levels that we know he can be to. And that's not a diss on Bruno. It's just that he set such high standards for himself. Any minor difference in his game is obviously going to be scrutinised differently. But today we saw a Bruno which Newcastle fans all love to see. 1 goal scored, 89 minutes played. Even these defensive stats here, 52 touches, 1 key pass, 2 fouls, was only fouled twice, but 1 clearance, 1 shot block, 1 interception, 1 key pass as well and a goal. So all of these things just, it's what you want to see from Bruno. He's meant to be the leader, the captain, and we saw again why he's crucial to Newcastle United. When you have Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes playing to the levels that they know that they can play to, it is a joke. Newcastle just look absolutely unstoppable in that midfield. And I just wanted to talk about this little moment here. Lewis Miley into Caicedo. I absolutely love to see that. The Geordie boy, the mentality, just a fun little thing there. He wants it as well. Players that aren't even playing as many minutes as they would want to play, they're able to come into the game and get into the thick of the action, get into the thick of the game. And it was really, really nice to see. I think Lewis Miley is going to have a massive season next year, riddled with injuries, but he's now getting into it. And I think he's a really, really good player. And, I just wanted to end off talking about the fact that St. James's Park is the worst place to go. I remember Arsenal, when we're going for top 4, Newcastle away just kills you. You do not want to be playing Newcastle away towards the end of the season. But it seems as though the Chelsea fans are quite salty. And I'll make a video about this tomorrow because I saw a lot of things that maybe you Newcastle fans want to be seeing. This is what a Chelsea fan said. St. James's Park is literally Anfield V2 with the way it gets reffed. Every slightest touch is a foul. The home team to the home team because of the crowd. Weak referees, weak. Your players are weak. Chelsea were weak. Arsenal, when we went there 2 seasons ago for top 4, we were weak. St. James's Park is a fortress. And it only gets like that because you're also being suffocated by the intensity that Newcastle play with. So if you cannot deal with that, then that's your own problem. I think the referee was fine today. The decisions he got, it was a red card for Jackson. That was all correct. But at the end of the day, Chelsea fans, horrible result for you. Newcastle, massive result for them. And if you're looking at the Premier League table, with Newcastle to play Arsenal next, Arsenal playing Liverpool today, going to be difficult for us. I think Newcastle may finish second in the Premier League. I really, really do think they will. City, they obviously got that horrible result the other day, only a point away to Southampton. So I think things are looking up. So if Newcastle do get themselves a point at the Emirates Stadium, or even go and get all three, I think that is an absolutely incredible result for them. And it epitomises what a good season, a cup and a second place. Dreamland for you, Geordie boys. But anyway, that's it for now. Let me know your thoughts on the game and everything discussed. But until next time, peace.